Hello, my beautiful people. I hope everybody's been enjoying their June so far. I'm really trying hard not to yearn over being in a summery climate right now because it's not going to happen. I'm not going to the Northern Hemisphere anytime soon. So I've been really trying to lean into winter and Melbourne winter at that, which I am enjoying. Like, I do really love it. I just feel like I don't have the right clothes at the moment because I'm originally from Queensland, which is a much warmer state than Melbourne. So I feel like I need to acquire a few more key pieces to keep me warm, specifically like a long coat that's actually warm. Yeah, welcome back to another vlog. I've got a semi-eventful weekend coming up. I'm gonna go to the markets tomorrow, get our produce for the week. I'm baking Matt a cake for his birthday. He's requested this brioche layered pull apart sort of number. So I'm gonna see how I go. I love to cook, but baking is not my forte. So we'll see how we go. And then I'm shooting again with Julia tomorrow night, which will be fun. Just another little personal shoot just to keep the creative juices flowing. And then what else do I have on? Yeah, that's kind of it really, but I'm hoping to have a nice, chill, sort of restorative weekend. In the last vlog, I started reading this as one of my reads for June. My Name is Lucy Barton by Elizabeth Strout. I've got like 5 pages to go. Absolutely loved it. I've breezed through it. Each chapter is kind of a little snapshot into her life at different stages, although it mainly follows her recovering from a sickness in hospital and her mother comes to visit. And they have this a strange sort of relationship. She doesn't really understand why it's imperfect, but it's been really good. It's very sad, but kind of in a bittersweet sort of way, I would say. But I've really enjoyed it. Sometimes reading books that have really large chapters, they can be a little bit daunting. So the fact that each of these chapters was like very short, and I just found it a lot easier to digest rather than these long-winded chapters that go on and on and on, you know, for 10, 20, 30 pages. Some of these chapters are only 5 pages, 2 pages, 1 page. So I've really enjoyed that, and I just feel like it's it's a lot easier to digest, and you can really just like breeze through it. But I have really enjoyed this. It's very sad. It's kind of she's gotten to the stage in her life. I don't really want to spoil the ending or whatever. I don't want to spoil the plot, but she goes through this tumultuous period in her life, and she kind of realizes, like, she's looking back in hindsight and wondering if she should have done things differently in regards to her family life and her relationships with her mum, her father, brother and sister as well. So yeah, it's kind of bittersweet, and it's, that nice reminder that, sometimes, families aren't perfect. Their dynamics are complex and layered, but if you've got it, if the circumstances are right and you have it in you, like, it's really important to stay connected and make the effort, to stay in each other's lives, because you never know when the last time is that you're going to see someone. So yeah, I've really enjoyed this. I don't know what I'm going to read next. I do have a few on my shelf that are short that I could get through, but I really, really want to read a Rachel Cusk. So I might be naughty and go to the bookshop on the weekend and pick one up. I'm thinking second place. I don't know. Although I also really want to read another James Baldwin. I read Giovanni's Room 2 months ago and absolutely loved it. So I might pick up another one of those as well, but we'll see. to go to my favourite coffee shop near me, and it's shut on a Sunday, which is very disappointing. So now I'm walking to another one to see if they're open, but their coffee definitely is not as good. But what can you do? Crazy at the bookstore, and I probably shouldn't have, but Readings is just so nice. Like, it's such a nice bookstore. I went to the one in Carlton, and to be fair, I probably should have gone to a secondhand bookstore, but I just couldn't be bothered to find one. But I got Slow Days, Fast Company by Eve Babitz. Super excited. I'm probably going to read this one first because it's the shortest. And I'm obsessed with this colour pink, like, and the contrasting dark pink in the typography. So nice. And then I got Motherhood by Sheila Hady. I saw Ava Maloche talk about this, and it's super interesting because I just feel like I'm sort of in the same... I've been thinking about having kids a lot recently. I'm 25, and you know, when I was 18, I thought I wanted to have kids by the time I was 24, and then I turned 22 and realized, oh god, no I don't. So yeah, and I think the older I get, the more I'm enjoying my life, and there's so many things that I want to achieve before I become a mother and potentially have to give up a portion of myself for, I don't know, a certain amount of time, because, you know, kids are all encompassing and I want to be a present parent. So yeah, I'm very excited to read this. Hopefully it doesn't convince me not to have children altogether, but I guess we'll see. And then I got If Beale Street Could Talk by James Baldwin. You guys know I listened to Giovanni's Room on our road trip down to Melbourne, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, so I wanted to pick up another one of his titles. And this was the only one that I had there. I think the rest just must have been sold out, but very excited for this too. And then the last one that I got is Play It As It Lays by Joan Didion. Again, my first Didion, so very keen to read this as well. I don't know exactly what order I'll read them in, but thinking Eve Babitz first, and then maybe this. But we shall see. And also, like, is this not Eve Babitz? I'm pretty sure it is. I mean, I have to double check that, or if you know, please correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure this is an image of Eve Babitz playing chess with an artist. Can't remember his name though. I'll fact check that. Anyway, home time now to make cake and dinner as well. I'm making a brioche cake for Matt's birthday with like with raspberry jam, and then a mascarpone, lemon, vanilla like cream in the middle. And I don't have a stand mixer, so I just kneaded brioche dough for the last like 45 minutes. I do not recommend on my bench. That would have been so much easier with a stand mixer, but I am a dedicated partner and I'm making this cake happen. Don't need to get the lid on or anything, I'm going to use it.
Yeah.
I'm onto the second story in Slow Days, Fast Company, and I really enjoyed the first one. The first one is about how she meets somebody who wrote her fan mail who liked her writing in real life, and they spend a weekend together in his hometown, Bakersfield, which is a couple of hours out of Los Angeles. It's my first introduction to her writing, and I think the thing I'm enjoying the most about this book is the fact that her writing feels like you're just sitting down talking with a friend and you're just like, yep. Like she's just, it's very conversational, it's very easy to digest. So I'm really loving that aspect of it. I would love to move on to one of her fiction novels next, but this is kind of a nice insight to her life and Los Angeles back in the 60s and 70s. I haven't ever really felt very connected to the US. So I find it a little hard to feel nostalgic about a place that I don't really have much experience with. I've been there a few times, but I was a very young kid. So my experience of it isn't as a young adult or in my adult life. So I find it a little bit hard to connect in that way. However, I do enjoy the stories so far and I'm excited to keep reading. I feel like I would feel much more dreamlike and nostalgic if she was talking about, you know, a city like somewhere in Europe, Paris, for instance, or somewhere in France or any European country. I feel like I would feel more drawn to because I've spent more time there as in my adult life rather than the US. But yeah, I'm liking it so far. Me and one of my best friends, Izzy, she lives back home and we're gonna do like a little book club between the two of us. I sent her pictures of the 4 books that I bought the other day saying, do you want to read one of these? We can read something from here or we can pick something else. And she said she's halfway through A Little Life and she's just like come to a standstill. She's finding it so hard to read. And the same thing happened to me. I'm halfway through and I haven't picked it up in like over a year. At this point, I'm probably just gonna have to restart altogether. I'm gonna have a FaceTime with her today and we're gonna decide what book to read. It might be one of the 4 that I picked up the other day, or it might be something else, but whatever it is, I'm still gonna be reading this alongside. I feel like this is something that you can just pick up and just read one chapter because it's not chronological. It doesn't follow a plot. They're just retellings and stories of her experience and her love for Los Angeles. So I feel like it will be easy to read another fiction book alongside this because I'm not really having to follow plots or character development or anything like that. So hopefully we will decide on what our little 2-person book club book will be today. But yeah, really enjoying this and want to read more of her work.